Hey, what's up guys, it's Darius, and this is Nexus 5X 3 months after its release. Sorry that my voice is still a little sore, I sadly still have a cold. This is the successor to the beloved Nexus 5, hence the name Nexus 5X. It was built by LG again and was released alongside the larger, more premium, and also more expensive Nexus 6P. Design-wise, it is similar to its predecessor and it keeps the Stormtrooper look with a soft touch feel all around the device. I do even like this design a little better than the original Nexus 5s. A lot of people complain about the design not being premium, and I do agree, but nevertheless, I still really like it. Sure, it isn't as premium or solid as, let's say, the Note 5, but it still sits nicely in the hand and the soft touch feel is pleasant. Hardware-wise, not much has changed. It now comes with a USB Type-C port instead of a micro USB one. Obviously, in the box, it now also comes with a USB Type-C cable. Sadly, there's only a Type-C to Type-C cable included, not also a Type-C to regular USB like the 6P. It's no big deal, but I wish it came with one because I couldn't even transfer files from my phone to my computer because I don't own one of these cables. It now also has a front-facing speaker. The quality is good, but it is superior to other speakers just because it's front-facing. Sadly, only the bottom grill houses a speaker, and I really wish that both of them did. On the back, the camera is slightly protruding, which I don't really mind. There's laser autofocus, and below the camera a fingerprint scanner which Google calls Nexus Imprint. It works really well, and I'd say this is definitely one of the best ones out there. There are faster ones, but this is definitely one of the most accurate ones. The placement is good, and since it's on the back, you do need to pick up the phone to unlock it, but now you don't even have to turn on the display first. You can just tap the fingerprint scanner and it wakes and unlocks, which is really awesome. Apart from that, the ergonomics are great. The buttons are not the clickiest, but nice and easily accessible. The battery isn't removable, and there is no IR blaster or expandable storage, just a regular SIM slot. I'm fine with all of them, apart from the lack of a micro SD card slot, since it only comes in 16 or 32GB variants. Come on, 16GB? Really, Google? It's 2016. The screen has also changed. It now comes with a 5.2-inch 1080p IPS panel with a PPI of 423, and it's covered in Corning Gorilla Glass 3. Viewing angles are good, colors are nice and accurate, and overall it's just a great display. I came off the Note 5, which has the best display out there, and it wasn't much worse. Now specs wise, it runs the Snapdragon 808 paired with the Adreno 418 and 2GB of RAM. It doesn't overheat, but it gets warm around the fingerprint scanner fairly easily. Now benchmark wise, it scores well, but real life performance is amazing. I've never had a Nexus phone before, and with only 2GB of RAM, I was a little worried about performance, but man, I was wrong. This thing is even slightly faster than my Note 5, and the specs on that are insane. Now I really understand why people love Nexus devices so much. Software-wise, it obviously runs the newest version of Android, being 6.0.1. As you all know, it's a Nexus, so it's all just vanilla Android Marshmallow. Now, I'm not going to talk about the features of Marshmallow, I'm just going to mention my favorites quickly. Now on tap is useful, but not perfect yet, and I'm not used to using it right now. The animations are awesome, and I can finally mute my phone just with a volume slider again. Doze is nice for when you have your phone lying there with very little battery left, but overall I don't see a big improvement in terms of battery life. Speaking of that, it houses a 2700 mAh battery, and battery life is decent. It got me through all the regular days, sometimes not lasting a very intensive day, but overall it was solid with an average of 4 hours of screen on time, which is decent but not great. I really wish it would last me longer, especially because it's running stock Android. That means no extra hit on the battery. Also, it comes with a doze feature and it only has a 1080p screen, so it really should be better. Now, I've seen other people get some great battery life with their Nexus 5X, so it could just be the way I use my devices, but still it should last longer. It does feature quick charging, which is awesome, but for some reason they removed the wireless charging, which sucks. Lastly, the camera has never been good on Nexus devices, but I can happily report that that is no longer the case. It has a 12.3 megapixel shooter on the back with an aperture of f2.0 and laser autofocus. Sadly, it has no OIS, which is a bummer, but Google tries to compensate for it with a larger sensor and pixel size. It is the same amazing camera as on the Nexus 6P, only difference is that it only shoots slow motion video at 120 FPS and not at 240. Images are very detailed and crisp, colors and white balance are accurate, and dynamic range was okay. In low light, it performs surprisingly well, even though, like I said, it lacks OIS. The app is very simple, just with a couple of modes and settings. The shutter is fairly fast and the autofocus is great. There's also a camera shortcut, which works by pressing the volume button twice. HDR Plus works really great, especially in low light, but it requires a little processing and taking a picture is a little slower, but I don't really mind that. Now it also shoots some nice 4K video and the quality is nice, but again, since it's lacking OIS, it's not that great and I just wish it had OIS. In the 3 months since the release, not much has changed. There have been a couple of updates and a permanent $30 price drop, and now it costs $350 for the 16GB model and $400 for the 32GB variant. And I really recommend picking up that one because 16GB really isn't enough. Overall, I can really recommend the Nexus 5X. It is an amazing phone with no major flaw, only battery life isn't the best. And there's just something about it that I really love about this phone. This is a great option as a first smartphone or for someone who is coming from iOS because it is affordable and very simple to use thanks to stock Android. But of course it's also great for anybody else. It really is one of the best in its price range, only two competitor being the Moto X Style or OnePlus 2 maybe, which I also reviewed, link is down below. Sadly, I can only recommend it if you live in the US, because in Germany, for example, it is a lot more expensive. But if you're quick, until the 12th of February, you can save up to 80 euros when you purchase one. So if you want to get one in Germany, do it now. I'd recommend just checking how much it costs in your country, and if it's converted around the same price as in the US, then go for it. If not, check out other devices like the OnePlus 2 or Moto X Style. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop me a like down below, comment if you have any feedback, follow me on Twitter, link is down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this one. See you in the next one. Bye!